As we continue to understand our own mastery of manifestation and materialization and how it connects with you unfolding or the realization, the self-realization of your consciousness and you being the creator of your own reality, it's really important to acknowledge our emotions. Emotions are the thing that actually fuels and brings life to the action, to the intention, to the materialization of the thing which you have decided to create. So it's important that when you think about creation, when you think about the materialization, the manifestation of that which you have decided to create, that you absolutely own and utilize your emotions. Understanding your emotions is imperative along the journey of discovering or rediscovering your mastery over manifestation and understanding who you really are. You see, when we think about emotions, we often think about these feelings that are beyond our control, these feelings that are strong in intensity, but lack direction or purpose or reason. But it's important to recognize that there are two aspects of how you create something. There are two energies, two elements of motivation, elements of energy that actually is the driving force behind you making something happen. One of these is your emotions. The other one is your thoughts, your reasoning, your, logistic or your logic or your logistic ability to strategize and think things through. But in this case, we're going to focus on emotions because emotions tend to get pushed aside. Logic, reason, strategy tends to always be put up in the front and focused on when it comes to where to put your intention as you think about manifestation. But your emotions are probably just as important, if not maybe more important. Because even if somebody has the ability or has made the decision to do something, the strategy may not be right, their rationale or their reason may not be right, but with enough emotion put behind creating that thing, put behind the action of making that happen, put behind a less than adequate approach, reason, strategy, with enough emotion, they still can be successful in materializing that thing. Thus, being successful in coming into their own awakening as to who they are and their actual nature, right? Who you are in your nature as a creator of your reality, of your universe. Thus, being able to manifest anything that you put your mind to and your heart to. It's important to understand that your emotions are the fuel for manifestation because you can have the strategy, you can have the thought process, you can have the reason, you can have the smarts, you can be a genius, but without the emotion to actually push you forward to action, to take action, then you have nothing. You just have an idea. But an idea just by itself will not create the thing that you want to happen, will not materialize the idea itself. But the emotions will drive you to be inspired, to be motivated, to actually take it upon yourself with will, right? To apply the will of making that thing so. Recognize that your fuel is your desire, is your emotions to want it, your emotions behind why you want it, right? Does it make you feel good? Are you wanting to create something, right, for yourself to experience? Or are you wanting to avoid something, right, which is to create safety from an experience that you've had before? You have to dive deep into the mechanisms behind the emotions. But first, we must acknowledge, though, that the emotions are the fuel that makes your desire true, that brings life to the thing that you have decided to create. Emotions are the energy of your desire. Emotions are ultimately the life force right? It's the life force seeking manifestation, seeking materialization behind the thought or the idea that you have, the thing by which you have decided that you are going to create. These emotions are tools or support systems for the consciousness to actually get things going. Because you see, without being emotional, which we all are as human beings, emotions are in fact essential to the human experience. You see, as humans, we are emotional beings. And this is because our purpose here is to take that emotion and to apply it in a productive way using our minds to actually create the thing that we desire, rather than creating the thing that we are trying to avoid. This is why it's important to distinguish between what it is you want versus what you don't want. Both of them hold some kind of place, right? They hold importance. Sometimes we need to understand what we don't want in order to gain insight onto what we do want. And when we take our energy and focus on what we do want, then we find ourselves in a space where we can truly create peace and fulfillment. But if we are always looking to not have something, to avoid something, to prevent something, then we are constantly living in a place of fear, which is an unproductive emotion. Though it can be something that kind of gets us close or gets us further along the journey, it is not something that is sustainable for the long term of the journey. It is just a step. But ultimately, along the journey, the thing that is sustainable is the emotions of positivity, gratitude, and understanding the essence of love and acceptance. That is what's going to be sustainable along the complete journey of your ultimate purpose here and why you are here. So you have to understand that though all the emotions can be used productively toward creating the thing that you've decided, you really want to lean into the positive emotions to be productive and to be sustainable along the entirety of your journey here on this earth. So the two aspects that are very important is your heart, your emotions, and your mind, your ability to rationalize, strategize, creating the thing that you want. You have to utilize both of those things because both of those things actually are the essence of what you need to materialize, to manifest. A very important thing that is created when you are clear mentally and emotionally is a sense of conviction. You see, conviction is a sense of your thought process and your strategy or your rationale or your logic is fortified with a sense of emotions, a sense of emotional strength behind what it is that you are achieving. So you have to understand that the more conviction you have, which is a sense of power toward creating that thing, the more conviction you have ultimately means the more energy you can produce or generate to create the thing that you want to create, to materialize that which you have decided to materialize. But you must be able to properly channel these emotions. You can't just let your emotions run over you and just explode whenever you are feeling them. You have to cultivate the ability to use your mind to will back the emotions a little bit, just so that way you can monitor them, you can analyze them, you can manage them. Not to say that you should push them aside, hold them deep within and not use them or express them, but you must be able to manage them, analyze them, use them in a way that is productive towards you actually thinking through actually what you're going to do with these emotions in order to get the thing that you want. So managing your emotions is absolute. You have to be able to manage your emotions and not let your emotions just come out and express whenever you feel them. Because it's important to recognize which emotions are coming from which part of you, right? Some emotions are coming from your ego. Those emotions may be emotions that are meant to prevent something, to prevent you from experiencing some kind of trauma that you have experienced once before. So that is more rooted in identifying with the past. You have to be clear that the emotions you are feeling, that you can acknowledge what you're feeling, and you can ask yourself and question whether these emotions are productive at the moment toward the goal that you are creating. So when you recognize that you're feeling a negative emotion like fear, anger, frustration, embarrassment, that you acknowledge that that fear is rooted in the ego, and it is rooted from a place of trauma. It is rooted from a place of insecurity, rooted from a place of lack. Whereas when you are focused in on experiences or creating an experience where it comes from a place of positivity and abundance and creating what you want rather than avoiding, then you're coming from a more, like I said before, productive but sustainable space where you are creating what you want. You are driven by positivity, by creation of what you want versus from avoiding what you don't want. This kind of energy and these kind of emotions are more aligned with creation. You see, yes, you can create from a place of fear, but like I said before, it is not sustainable. So to continue to hold on to that creation from a place of fear is not likely to happen long term. But understanding that positivity, understanding that abundance, understanding that these are energies and emotions that are sustainable with the universe, and this is the true essence of the energy needed to create something sustainable, then you can move forward in life really in alignment with who you truly are as a creator, right? And understanding that the universe is tied together by love and positivity. Even though, yes, of course, negative emotions exist, but it is the true essence of the universe that we all understand to be love and positivity rather than fear and negativity. So when you align yourself with the things that make you feel good, usually it is about creating something rather than preventing something. Preventing something means you are avoiding something that you don't want, and that is in itself negative. But when you are focused on creating something that you do want, then that is in nature positive. And that's how we need to focus on using and identifying our emotions along this journey of rediscovering your own mastery and your own understanding as to how you create in this reality. Thank you so much. Feel free to visit drabundant.com. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.